Testing 1, 2, 3.
We're good. We're hot.
Behind the scenes.
Oh my gosh, B-roll, B-roll.
That's
Oh
always
no. All right, back to 1. Hi.
fun. 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Magic Makers. I'm Mombierella.
And I'm CJ Peterson. We're here at KimoKawaii at the Lone Star Convention Center in Conroe, Texas. And we have our friend here today, Mr. Chris Patton. Howdy, sir.
Hi, how are you doing?
And he's a voice actor from a few things you might know, such as...
So I play Greed in Fullmetal Alchemist. I play Oikawa in Haikyuu. I play Linhardt in Fire Emblem Three Houses and Fire Emblem Three Hopes. And actually, I've been doing anime and video games for 25 years. So I've been in like about 350 things, and I can't name them all right now.
Wow.
Goodness.
Wow. So you do voice acting. Have you ever done writing or directing at all?
So I started out when I was a little kid doing theater, and I did theater into my mid-20s. Actually, I still do theater now, but I got into voice acting in my late 20s. So sort of a late bloomer that way. And nowadays I also direct theater and I write dub scripts for anime. So
very cool.
I've written a few, and I just got back into it. So I'm doing some writing for Crunchyroll, and I've done some writing for Sentai and ADV Films. So yeah,
That's
a little bit of all of it. Yeah.
So how did you fall into all of this?
Oh my gosh. So I was working on a play. I was in a play with somebody and in the Houston area. I'm from Houston. And she was like, you need to go work for this company in Houston called ADV Films. And I was like, what is that? She's like, well, they dub Japanese animation into English. And I'm like, really? Like here in Houston that happens? She's like, yeah. So the next time they had an open call, I went. And they were like, you're good at this. And they started hiring me. And then the rest is history. Like it just kind of blew up from there.
I'm going to ask a really stupid question.
There aren't no
Well,
stupid
I'm
questions.
assuming it's coming across in the other language. Do you know that enough to transfer it to dub it?
No. I know maybe 5 words of Japanese. Like
Oh,
maybe.
wow.
Okay,
So
so how does
do
that
you do
work?
the dub script?
Okay,
Yeah.
so what happens is every company has in-house translators. The translators translate, and then they give the translated script to the adaptive writers. And direct translation is often clunky and a little bit, it can sound off. So the job of the adaptive writer is to take the translation and make it sort of palatable to the Western European American ear. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
so you take the translation and you make it fit the lip flaps, and you make it sort of sound less clunky. That's what adaptive writing is.
Okay, so now I don't feel stupid for asking that
No, it's
question.
a really good question.
It's a
Yeah,
great question.
yeah.
So, well, I'm sorry.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
gonna stop holding mine. I just realized that she's the one sharing. I'm not sharing, so I don't have to hold mine in my hand.
That's true.
I don't know why I'm holding this. So, there's still a Houston location where they do this?
Sentai Filmworks.
Really?
They do tons of anime. Yeah.
And so, is there opportunities for voice actors to come there? Do they still hire out of the?
What I've been told, I mean, I've been with them so long now, but what I've been told, the latest sort of protocol on that is they don't do open calls anymore. It's all by referral.
Oh.
So you kind of have to know someone who's doing it. And like, for example, I direct theater in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
When I find a particular actor that I think has a really interesting or unique voice or is just super talented, I recommend them to Sentai, and they end up usually getting work. So
That is really cool. Hey, BFF, how are you doing?
So
Hey.
no, I will say, like you'll like I'll be directing a show and someone will find out what I do and they're like, oh, well,
Right.
I've always wanted to be a voice actor. And like, well, show me what you got. You see, again, like I'm sort of responsible for. I don't like to say that because he's just naturally very talented. But there's a voice actor named Bryson Bogus.
Yep.
And well, see, I directed him in a show called American Idiot based on the Green Day album back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Bryson, you have a really unique, cool voice. And I recommended him to the people at Sentai. And then, he is blown up.
Where he is today.
Yeah.
And he owes it all to you.
So I'll be invoicing you, Bryson. Not really. He's great.
So you've played characters from Greed, which is like a super villain, and
Yeah.
like so that's pretty creepy character.
Yes.
But you've also played a hero.
Totally.
So like the dichotomy there, like how do you manage the voice differences whenever you're working on those characters?
It's really weird coming up with the characters because for some reason it's just something that comes naturally. Like when I see a character and I'm told I'm playing that character, I just look at it and I just know what they're supposed to sound like. I don't
That's
know what that means or how that happens, but I'll go in with a voice and the director hears it, and maybe we'll go back and forth a couple times, but we'll try making it a little more this or a little less that, and then in about 5 minutes we've got the voice usually, and it's just cool. I know Greed was a really good example. I was on a lunch break at Funimation one day, and Mike McFarlane brought me into his studio, and he was like, I know you've never played a major villain before, and I was like, yeah, and he's like, I think you'd be good for this guy. And he showed me, he goes, how would you voice him? And he showed me the clip, and I was like, okay, let me do it. And he goes, okay. And he goes, well, you just recorded the first episode of Greed as Full Metal Alchemist. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know what that meant at the time. I'm like,
So does that mean there's a contract somewhere?
yeah, no.
or-
And then he
Right.
was like, I'll get you a contract set up, but you're going to be playing this character. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I had no
You
idea.
didn't realize this was like this epic.
No, I mean
series,
that
like, it
show
was coming.
changed all of our careers.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone that had a named role in that show, their career totally changed after that show came out.
So can you give us an example of a good guy and a bad guy voice?
Oh gosh.
You have a
Um,
plethora
No
to
pressure.
choose from.
so it's yeah. First of all, I have to say the funny thing about my voice is that it lives in a certain pocket.
Mhm.
And so I used to joke 20 years ago, I was like, I'll be playing teenagers and 20 somethings till I'm 60. And
You're now playing teenagers
I'm-
and 20
I
somethings.
mean,
so
I'm
you're
not
60.
60, but it's not that far down the road. And I'm like, I might be playing teenagers and 20 somethings till I'm 60. So,
I forecasted my own future.
right? So, and I don't know.
Spoken
it's-
into existence.
my voice just doesn't really age much. And so all of my nice guys tend to live right around here. Well, like Linhardt in Fire Emblem, that's just my voice, but softened up a little bit and talking about sleep a lot.
Okay.
And then, like, when I go into Greed, I just kind of put some extra fry. And he
Oh.
becomes really creepy. And he says things that end with it's all about the fry on the end of the words for him. And it ends up giving him this creepy, villainous air all of a sudden. And
That honestly is creepy.
Greed
He's-
was creepy. Okay,
he's a
I
creepy
gotta say,
voice.
It's a creepy
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
No,
Totally.
Well done. I'm officially creeped out. It's all good.
Yay!
Call it
There's
You're
the goal,
welcome.
there's the goal, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
No,
So if
sorry.
people want to find you online, how do they
Oh
find
my
you?
gosh. I hate social media, but I'm also on it all the time. So what kind of hypocrite am I?
No, it's a love-hate
It
relationship.
is a love-hate relationship. I'm on Instagram. I'm Chris Patton VO. It's so original. And then on TikTok, which God help us all and save us from TikTok, but we're all addicted to it. So I'm the Chris Patton on TikTok. I'm only that because Chris Patton was taken. So I had to put the Chris Patton, like Megan the Stallion,
Mhm.
Chris the Patton. I don't know, but I'm the Chris Patton on TikTok, and I'm I don't know. I used to be more active on there, but not so much anymore. But you can see all kinds of ridiculous videos of me doing voices and stuff.
Nice.
And I'm more active on Instagram though, so follow me there first. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. Do whatever you want to do.
Do your thing. It's
So-
all
Do
good.
your thing.
I know we have a panel, and I'm doing the panels. Is our panel today or tomorrow?
I'm part of like a group panel today.
Yes, there's a group panel today, and everybody will
And
be
then
there. so-
tomorrow though, I'm doing a panel on the notorious, infamous Ghost Stories dub. And
Yes.
if you know what that is, you know what it is. If not, maybe you don't worry about it.
Oh,
But-
I'm a nut, but I don't do creepy. Would I be creeped
It's
out?
not creepy.
Okay.
It is ridiculously comedic and offensive.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
That's all good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's sort of like if you can imagine like the South Park of anime dubs.
Oh, okay.
That's what Ghost Stories is. And it has a huge, I was going to say niche, but it's not. It has a huge cult following. Like it, for some reason, several years ago, it just blew up. Someone posted this clip on YouTube called "Funniest Moments from Ghost Stories," and within like a week, it had like 2.5 million views.
Wow.
Holy cow.
And so it's. I mean, we did it in 2008. But since then, it has become this monster of a cult dub. Like already, I've had probably 20 or 30 people come up to the table just to be like, "Were you really in Ghost Stories?" I'm like, "Yeah, I really was." And they're like, "That's amazing." I just had this person tell me that my performance in Ghost Stories was an inspiration to them. And I'm like, you might want to relook up what the word inspiration means, but you know, cool, you do you. So yeah.
Okay.
If
Well,
yeah,
you know,
creepy stories are your
different
hero.
strokes,
Okay.
different-
Yeah. It's just basically what happened with that dub was the show that it's based on was a children's, like, kind of Scooby-Doo kind of show in Japan. And it did fine. But when the Japanese company sold it to ADV Films, back then it was ADV Films in Houston, they said, we're not sure this is going to play to an American audience. So we give you guys permission to kind of go rogue. And boy, did we. We just
That sounds like fun, actually.
Oh no, we had an amazing time with it. And like the director, Stephen Foster, wrote this meticulously crafted comedic script, but he also let us come up with some of our own jokes for our characters as the show went on. And if he thought they were funny, he would put them in. So we're all credited as writers. And it's just insanely offensive. So just be ready. If you're going to watch clips from it,
Okay.
we set out with the goal to offend anyone and everyone. And we even make fun of ourselves in the dub. So
So you have been warned.
yeah,
Okay.
you've been
And
warned.
universally
no one is
offensive.
spared. So yeah.
But
yeah,
yes, so I'll be posting this after the first night probably, but tomorrow come on out to KimoKawaii. We're going to be having a panel. I'll be helping with the Q&A.
Like
and
moderating.
everything. So yes.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
So if you haven't come out yet, come on out. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Really
guys.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for your time. I really appreciate
Oh, I
it.
appreciate you. Thank you.
So make sure to come down to the Lone Star Convention Center in Conroe, Texas for KimoKawaii. Until then, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.